Good morning, Stackers. Happy Friday. Friday. Fantastic. I had events I was going to all week this week, and that means Friday today, I'm doing nothing. I'm doing absolutely nothing tonight, and I couldn't be happier about it, except, well, continuing to pack up the basement. So, but we're well ahead of the game there, which is good. So as soon as we get done recording here, we're doing some writing. We're writing out the next few weeks. We have most things recorded, but doing well. By the way, if you are trying to listen to today's Stacking Benjamin show and it came up wrong with the wrong episode, clear your cookies and do it again because we messed up. By the way, mug of the morning is Denali. And by the way, I don't use this mug much. Don't use this mug much because it's huge and the coffee gets cold in a hurry. Some more hilarity, which is we have a new sponsor for the Stacking Benjamin show, and we just got the stuff just to start working. Cookies. There's always room for cookies, Daryl. And so it's Nutrafol, and I'm trying it out right now. So, and it's hair growth for men. And I told our ad people, I said, I'm pretty bald, and we kind of like to do humor. And she's said, humor it up. So we're having a lot of fun, both OG and I, taking hair growth formulas right now. Good time. I need to maybe get an IV, Jennifer. Maybe that's what I need. I do tend to throw out half a cup of coffee a lot. All right. Enough dilly-dallying, as Mom says. Let's work on today's show, shall we? Today, we're also working hard on getting tickets up for sale for the tour. Richie is working on the artwork for the show, so that'll be fun. Clay, how are you, man? I know it is coffee abuse. I need to drink faster. I do. If I'm wasteful in one area of my life, it is coffee, but I also have to say that I drink it as much for like just the smell. And in the winter, and this will be, more important when I move back to Michigan, but the, holding your coffee cup like this. And by the way, I don't see, there's Susan. Hey, Susan, I wore this for you. We will come back, Susan. There it is. Texas Rangers beat our ass last night. Just killed us. So I'm rallying the team. That's why I'm I haven't worn this t-shirt in a long time. It's huge. Number one, it's like a tent, but I had to put it on today, Susan, because we're coming back. All right, let me get this stuff ready. I love Fridays. Oh, and I got to check out one more thing, kids, before we do this. Gotcha. Okay. On most Fridays now, we're going to have you guys on with me. And we tried to set it up with Gina, and this week with all the moving stuff got so busy that I wasn't able to do it. Look at them. You can just see the mess back there. It is messy. There's stuff all over. And you think you have everything packed up. And then when you actually make that last move, if you've moved before, you know what I'm talking about. There's all this random stuff, right? It's kind of the point we're already at, where there's just random stuff. And I know it's probably enough to fill up a pickup truck, which is horrible. All right. It is. It totally is. I like the smell. Like it's almost like when my dad used to, smoke a pipe. Just like hanging out with that pipe smell. I know, right? It is messy down here. It's horrible. We partied Wednesday like it was a weekend, and I was paying for it yesterday. Not good. And you know what's funny is that both our teams, the Rangers and the Tigers, the Tigers are in almost every game. All right, I got to stop chatting. I got to get this thing done. Let's get this show. Let's get this show moving. Mason, you're moving in 2 weeks. I'm moving. Kind of. We have the new apartment above my friend's dad's garage already, and I laugh while I say that because I absolutely love it. This place is tiny. We are moving next week. You're moving in 2 weeks. Congratulations, by the way, if I got that right. All right, here we go. Restart this so I can keep track of time. Headline 1, LA Times over there. Headline 2, USA Today over there. All right. I think my favorite part of a sporting event is the second half. The energy picks up if the game's close. And even if it's not that close, you can see the desperation in the eyes of the team that's behind. Or if it's a big game, there's this intensity, right? This big intensity that's shared by players and fans alike. All right, we're going to start that over because I'm too dumb to not stop my alerts. Boom. Take 2. I think my favorite part of a sporting event is the second half, especially watching the World Cup lately, baseball games. The energy picks up, the game's close, and you can see the desperation in the eyes of the team that's losing. Or if it's a big game, there's this intensity that players and fans are both sharing. I'm on the edge of my seat at home. Or if I'm at the game, you can just feel it. You can feel the electricity in the arena. It can be electric. And by the way, today I wore my Detroit Tigers t-shirt to our live Facebook taping because Tigers got to get it together, number one. But also because today's topic is all about planning on the fly. Let's go. Live from Mom's Half-Finished Basement in Texarkana, Texas, it's the Stacking Benjamins offshoot show, Money in the Morning. Hey, kids, I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, Average Joe Money on Twitter. And this is the podcast where we take not one, but 2 headlines ripped from the popular press. Today, it's the LA Times and USA Today. And we talk about not only what's in them, but what you need to know for your financial plan. At the end of each show, we take both of those headlines and we come up with a big idea, bringing these 2 headlines together that you can take with you on your day. Money in the Morning is brought to you by Tiller. You know, whether you're a spreadsheet geek like Mom or somebody that wants to press the simple button like me, head to stackingbenjamins.com/Tiller and you'll see how you can turn your spreadsheets into the most beautiful tracking or budgeting thingy ever. Thingy is my technical term today. We got a lot of technical terms, though, in these articles, so let's get today fired up, shall we?
Here come 2 headlines ripped from the financial press, only at Money in the Morning.
Only here, Laura, thank you. This is written by Andrew Van Dam over at the LA Times. A record number of folks age 85 and older are working. Here's what they're doing. Piece says 70 may be the new 60 and 80 may be the new 70, but 85, still pretty old to work. Yet in some ways, this is the era of the very old worker in America. Overall, 255,000 Americans 85 years old and over were working in the last 12 months. That's 4.5% of Americans that age, up from 2.6% in 2006 before the recession. It's the highest number on record. They're doing all sorts of jobs. They're crossing guards, farmers, and ranchers. There are between 1,000 and 3,000 U.S. truckers age 85 or older, based on 2016 Census Bureau figures. Their ranks have roughly doubled since the Great Recession. America's aging workforce has defined the post-Great Recession labor market. Baby boomers and their parents are working longer as life expectancies grow, retirement plans shrink, education levels rise, and work becomes less physically demanding. Labor Department figures show that at every year of age above 55, U.S. residents are working or looking for work. Maybe they're doing that too, at the highest rates on record. At the lower end of the age curve, the opposite holds true. Workers age 30 and younger staying on the sidelines at rates not seen since the 1960s and 70s, when women weren't yet entering the workforce at the level they are today. People who are still working at 85 or above are unusual. They hold very different jobs from their younger peers and rivals, even as they don't vary significantly by race, ethnicity, or geography. Most of the oldest workers are concentrated in just 26 of the 455 occupations listed by the Census Bureau data. Those same 26 occupations are home to less than a third of the total workforce. And it continues from there. And I'll link to this piece on my Twitter feed at Average Joe Money over on Twitter. All right, let's talk about this. Americans working older. And is it because of the fact that we had the Great Recession and because they're struggling? Maybe they haven't saved enough money? Maybe. But I like the second half of this too, which is that work is less demanding and people are living longer. And as we define ourselves, I mean, you go to a party and how do you define yourself? Hi, my name's X person. Very first thing that within 3 to 5 questions, it's going to be, so what do you do? Right. And even though it's a placeholder, it's a filler, it's one that we've all come to use. And so we find that we start defining ourselves by what we do. And when we get to that quote retirement date, we no longer have that thing that we do. So we talk about seniors working longer. Yeah, there's the issues we talk about a lot here, which are saving the appropriate amount of money, getting money into the right tax deferred vehicles, all that mumbo jumbo. I think it's more this though. I think the big lesson here is that retirement now is more like halftime. And by the way, if you're 85 years old or older, I hope you're not a truck driver. When I saw 1,000 to 3,000, and you may drive fantastic at age 87, I'm just not that excited about being behind you on the road at 87 years old, driving a heavy rig. No thanks. Sorry. Better than when my kid was 16. And he very famously took out one of my biggest blog posts back when we used to have a blog was about how my son decapitated the mailbox across the street. And when he did that, he came to my bedroom and woke me up because it was 5:15 in the morning and said, "Dad, there's something wrong with the car." And by the way, when you hear there's something wrong with the car, what do you think? You think that maybe, you know, the check oil light's on. Maybe one of the tires might be flat. Something wrong with the car. What's wrong with the car? It's mounted on our neighbor's mailbox. How he did that, by the way, is still impressive and amazing and a story for another day. But back to seniors, not my 16-year-olds. Retirement is more like halftime. You know, and the longer I get away from it, the more I believe that this thinking of your life as if there's 4 quarters like a sporting event is way, way better than thinking about your pre-retirement years and your post-retirement years. And the frustrating thing though, there is that even if you think of your life as 4 different quarters, I still want to have enough money saved by the time I get to halftime so that I don't have to worry about that second half. Because the one thing that this piece doesn't go through, but is an issue, I mean, it just isn't part of this piece, is that you don't know when your healthcare problems are going to start. And the fact is, it isn't if you're going to have a healthcare problem, right? It's when. Either you're going to just keel over dead, or you're going to have health problems that keep you from work. And by the way, the reason why most people retire has nothing to do with planned retirement date. It's because of the fact that they're not healthy enough to work, which leads me to believe also that more people are working later in life because the job is less physically taxing and you can work longer at it. Why not do it? If you love to do it, why not keep doing it? If it's what makes you excited, being part of a team. We see this in the military also, right? These people go overseas and they're part of this unit of people who rely on each other to live. And then they get back to the United States, and very famously in movies like The Hurt Locker, people dealing with the fact that I'm not this piece of this very, very important unit of people who need to have each other's back all the time. And even though going from the military to driving a truck for some company is a stretch, just being part of a team is not part of a stretch. We all want to be part of a team. We like being part of a winning team. I wish my Detroit Tigers were more of a winning team, even though they've been in a lot of games, but they still have a long way to go. All right, let's say hello here at the break between our two headlines before we go to our second one. All of our friends hanging out with us on Facebook today. We do this in front of a live Facebook audience. No editing on this show, which always makes me very nervous and is more fun for you because you never know what's really going to come out of my mouth. Let's say hello to, scroll down here. Daryl's here with us. Susan's here with us. She's the Rangers fan. Tigers played the Rangers this weekend. Jennifer is here. Clay's here. Lori's here. Mason's here. Ron is here. Ron says next road trip, the Bay Area. If our 3-city live Stacky Benjamin show tour goes well this year, San Francisco's on the short list of places we'll go next year. And by the way, if you're interested in our tour, we are going to have tickets on sale in the next couple of weeks. Head to stackybenjamins.com/stacker. We are coming to Orlando, to the Improv in Orlando. We'll also be at the Improv in Kansas City, and we'll be at Go Comedy Theater in Ferndale, just north of Detroit, for our third triumphant show, I'm sure. Jordan's here. Jordan asked if I'm going to retire in Texas. Man, no such thing as retirement for this guy. If it's all podcasting, I will be podcasting live Money in the Morning, and people are going to see it. That was going to be really, really awkward. I was going to talk about how I'm clutching my chest on video. Yeah, maybe not good for anybody, but I love what I do. I seriously have no thoughts of retirement. I do have thoughts of financial independence. And as I've said before on shows, and this show isn't about me, it's about you. But my savings is enough that I probably could be financially independent. But being a former recovering financial planner, I really worry about having enough. And I see people have a lot less money than I have who are younger than me, who are touting online that they're financially independent. Yeah, maybe. No, you don't. No, you don't. Too much stuff goes wrong. Drives me crazy. Laura's here. Hey, Laura, good morning to you. Kimberly's here. She's disappointed there's no news from the Onion today. We did that one time. We got to do an Onion article again, though. Clay commenting on the fact that we did our opening twice. Even though we don't edit it, we do sometimes have to restart because your host here is too dumb to turn off all the alerts on his computer before he starts. Eric actually is going to comment about the article. He says, I think the challenge is to find meaning and purpose no matter what your age. Retirement can be a great opportunity to refocus on meaning. I totally agree with that. And the cool thing about what you're saying, Eric, is this. I get so frustrated looking at these statistics of people that don't like what they do. And if you concentrate on being financially independent as early in your life as possible, you can create meaning and purpose in your life as quickly as possible. I absolutely love that. Totally agree. Daryl says 10 years ago, I switched from a physical job to more of an office job because I could work longer. Yeah. A lot of people doing that. And the bad news is, of course, a lot of those physical labor jobs going to robots now. And by the way, that's going to be at a increasing rate. Eric says Ferndale Hipsters Unite. Eric, if you're in Ferndale, hope you're coming out to see us. We'll be October 24th in Detroit. So I just can't wait. We've been designing the show. We've done some live shows before where we just kind of do our show and people stand around and watch us do just our regular discussion. We at FinCon last year, we had David Bach on the show, and it was OG and Doug and I and David Bach. And we did the show. People stood around. We had a nice group of people. It was really fun. This isn't that show. This is audience participation. This is live, made for, not made for audio, made for video. So I hope you come out. Tickets going on sale soon. All right, on to our second piece. This one comes to us from the USA Today. And with all the summer travel, I thought this was an important thing to get to. Written by Nathan Bomey. Summer gas prices don't fill up in these states on your road trip. So you're taking a summer road trip. You're about to leave the state. Do you fill up on gas now, or do you wait to fill up after you cross the border? Making the wrong decision could cost you nearly $10 a tank, depending on where you're heading. $10 a tank. What's that thing, that old song? $10 is $10, right? Watch out for those state lines, says Patrick DeHaan, senior petroleum analyst at fuel station finding app Gas Buddy. Gas prices average about $2.88 per gallon last Thursday, according to AAA, hitting a 4-year high for the Independence Day travel period. Here's some advice before you head out. All prices according to Gas Buddy. 1, fill up in Arizona, not California. The price disparity between these two states is extreme. Arizona averaged $3.07 per gallon as of last Thursday, while California was $3.72, according to Gas Buddy. At those prices, a 15-gallon fill-up is $9.75 more expensive in California. If you're at the Texas-New Mexico border, fill up in Texas, not New Mexico. If you're road tripping in the Southwest, price differences can be significant. This is another good example. The price of fuel in Texas, where oil refineries are clustered, averaged $2.67 on Thursday in New Mexico. It was $2.89. That means you save $3.30 in Texas on a 15-gallon take. If you're at the other end, over by me at the Louisiana-Texas border, fill up in Louisiana, not Texas. Texas is more expensive than Louisiana, which is also a hot spot for refineries. Prices average $2.59 in Louisiana, compared with $2.67 in Texas. Generally, though, quote, anywhere in the South is a good place to fill up, DeHaan said. They're right in oil's backyard, plus there's low taxes. How about going north? Let's talk about the Midwest. Fill up in Ohio, not in Michigan. Ohio's more forgiving on the pocketbook than its rival to the north. With prices averaging $2.85, Ohio was notably lower than Michigan's $2.94. Let's talk about that Virginia-West Virginia border. Fill up in Virginia, not West Virginia. Going whitewater rafting in West Virginia sounds fun this summer, but fill up first in Virginia. Prices are 22 cents lower at $2.62. How about West Virginia-Pennsylvania border? West Virginia doesn't look so bad when you see prices in Pennsylvania, which average $3.02 compared with West Virginia's $2.84. Let's go to the Northeast. Fill up in Massachusetts, not Connecticut, at $2.90. Massachusetts isn't exactly an oasis of cheap gas, but it's still cheaper than neighboring Connecticut at $3.10. And then last, fill up in Alabama, not Georgia. Georgia's 14 cents higher, $2.67 compared with $2.53. Come to think of it, fill up in Alabama, no matter where you're heading, it's the cheapest gas state in the country, according to Gas Buddy. And it's funny because we say, don't sweat the small stuff. But if you're on a road trip, the small stuff is where it's at. There's lots and lots and lots of little decisions you make along the way. And it's not only just the decision around gas, there's also the decision around packing food, right? We did a piece on our SB Live on Thursday, where we were guessing from a list of 25 these ways people lose money that they don't think about. One was snacks at the gas station, snacks and sodas at the gas station. Sodas, not much of a redeeming quality in soda. And then number 2, snacks, a lot more expensive at the gas station than at the grocery store. And once again, probably not as healthy either. Could be healthy, but often not. And if it's not, it's going to be way, way, way more expensive than if you plan ahead. And this is an area, this summer road trips, where it's not just the gas prices. A little pre-planning might buy a meal or two on the trip. If you can get a free meal, the cool thing about this, by the way, here's what I find about pre-planning trips. I know you're sick of hearing me talk about my upcoming trip to Germany, but I'm going to do it again. I've done a lot of pre-planning on this trip. And what I've done, because we were fixing up our house to sell it, I used our credit card to pay for all these things, ran them through the credit card, and then paid off the credit card immediately. If you're not going to pay off your credit card immediately, by the way, don't do this. But the goal was to get points. And it was thinking about, I'm selling a house at the same time that Cheryl and I are going on this anniversary trip. How about if I see how much of this trip we can have for free as possible? How much can we get for free? So far, our tickets to and from Germany, to Bavaria, and then to Frankfurt specifically, down the romantic road and across into Austria, and then flying back out of Vienna. Tickets for now, not completely free. We use points. I think they ended up being $300 total. So that's number one. Number two, hotel rooms. Been using the Capital One card where they've given us 10 times the points if we book using that Capital One Venture card. And so use that thing. And now I have every hotel room for 2 weeks except 2 nights paid for free. And I'm just about to cha-ching on hopefully on those 2 nights as well. So of those, then all I have left is a rental car and my food. Just pre-planning. And you know what's going to be cool about this trip? Going on a vacation that's paid for ahead of time. I remember an early trip Cheryl and I took where it was all paid for with a credit card. Life was tough. Things were going poorly. And we just financed this vacation. You know why? Because you only live once and we deserve it. Dumb, absolutely stupid way to plan a vacation. But we did it that way. And I not only felt horrible on the trip, I felt horrible after the trip. Like, really, I had all this fun and it's 3 months later, 4 months later, I'm still paying for it. But this idea of pre-planning gasoline on a road trip, the idea of pre-planning your food a little bit, like it just makes me laugh. I'm like, I feel like I'm cheating the system because I'm getting so much extra stuff. So if I can just plan this little tiny thing and get a free dinner, imagine if you planned that financial independence the same way. How many free dinners you could get that way. How about that, huh? Brought that baby around. Let's say hello again one more time here to our friends. Clay says Louisiana for the win. Ryan says bike packing for the win. Yeah, biking also does it. Susan says I try not to stop in Louisiana when I'm passing through. Very, very, very funny. Clay goes back to the first piece, by the way, and says, my grandfather was a veteran who raised cattle and ran a gas station for the rest of his life, died in his mid-80s. And I think for him, work was just part of his life. It's not that he couldn't retire. He just didn't want to. I feel that way, Clay. I am right there with your grandfather. And isn't it great, back to Eric's comment earlier, that he has a job where he feels like it's just part of who he is. And it's not so much a job, it's his identity. And that's exciting. That's when work is fun. Hey, in a second, we're going to have some fun. We're going to take these 2 headlines. We're going to put them together into a big idea for today. But before we do this, I want to talk a little bit about Tiller, because if you haven't gone to try out Tiller, and by the way, you get a free month of Tiller to kick the tires, see how you like it before you actually sign up. Here's the way Tiller works. It's spreadsheet based, which, by the way, is going to scare the hell out of some of you. Don't let that happen, because at Tiller, they have a bunch of templates. I use the easy templates. I even made the templates easier with my Tiller. Now, Mom, on the other hand, loves spreadsheet mania. She likes having pages and pages of spreadsheets. You can do all of the above at Tiller. You can make your own. You can use their templates, and you can use Google Sheets, or now, brand new at Tiller, you can use Excel base sheets. Head to stackingbenjamins.com/Tiller. The cool thing that they do with Tiller's spreadsheet-based tracking and budgeting programs is this. And this is the easy button for everybody, you can safely and securely download all of your transactions from all of your institutions right into your sheet, a place where only you can see it. Bam. You just turn your spreadsheet into however cool you want it to be. stackingbenjamins.com/Tiller says that we sent you. That's the way you support the show, because if you decide that you want to buy Tiller, they send us a thank you for every person that buys. So there it is. All right, let's make our big idea for today and get on with our day, shall we? So headline number 1 about working late into your retirement years. And then headline number 2 is about gas stations, right? And about planning ahead a little bit. And it's funny, I feel like a lot of time, and I think this is the big hidden message. I thought long and hard about the hidden message in these two and how we link these two together. And I think the message is this. We love crisis management. obviously, when I'm looking at pieces, researching for this show or for our Stacking Benjamins podcast, I see all kinds of crisis management pieces. This thing happened and they responded this way, right? Yet if you plan well, the real magic is in stuff that doesn't happen because you planned ahead of time for it. I love thinking about all of the crises I avoided because I planned ahead. There's a person who I know very well, who she always seems to have bad stuff happen to her, like constantly has bad stuff happen all the time. And the more I got to know her, the more I realized that the reason bad stuff happens to her, she doesn't do any planning ahead at all. And then when the crisis comes, she's always in crisis management mode. So we don't think at all about emergency funds. And when we do think about them, we think, well, Joe, they don't pay us any money. Yeah, but they avoid the crisis. I don't have to worry about the crisis because I have an emergency fund. I don't go back and check my car insurance or my homeowners because it seems like a waste of time. Okay, maybe I'll save $10. Yeah, but the next time that something happens, I know how the process works. I know that I saved the money. I've got that. Road trips very, very simply give you this dichotomy, right? Philip in Ohio, not in Michigan. Philip in Louisiana, not in Texas. Just very simple, saves a few dollars. But think about the compounding interest on things not happening. Like, more I can focus on the things that are out at an arm's length versus the crisis, the fires when I wake up, better it's going to be. And it's all in this idea of pre-planning. I can enjoy my retirement years doing whatever the heck I want. And that, based on today's piece, may very well be work, but it's work that I love. To Eric's point earlier, love Eric's point, meaning and purpose, because of the fact that you did some planning ahead. I think that's our big idea today, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Everybody on Facebook, thanks for hanging out at home. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy. Go Stack some Benjamins. Bye-bye.
Money in the Morning is created by Joe Saul-Sehy and is brought to our channels by our producer and engineer, Richie Rutter-Reese. Stacking Benjamins and Money in the Morning are for entertainment purposes. Before making moves, consult with your financial advisor. Looking for training sessions? Kathleen Sellemans has a great suite of Stacking Benjamins tools, so head on over to learn.stackingbenjamins.com. Hoping to chat with us on the web? Say hello to Shannon Cowan, our social media guru and community manager in our Facebook group. She can be found at stackingbenjamins.com/basement. From the basement, I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. See you tomorrow.
All right, man, that was fun. I love that, Mason. That's great stuff. I did that one year too. And I should do that more often, but instead I've been using it for my travel purposes, but for me, travel something I love to do. And I love not to pay for. So if I can have somebody else pay for my good time, I'm not like some of these. I get jealous of some of these travel hackers. Our friend Holly Johnson, Holly and Greg over at Club Thrifty, they've been on the show a few times. Man, looking at their pictures of all the places they go for next to nothing, beautiful vacations for next to nothing. Now they work their butt off, right, in different ways to develop this travel stuff. I mean, they have a fantastic blog where they write about travel a lot, so they work for it. But man, that's totally different. Kimberly, this makes sense to me too. That's awesome. Get the money back. Buy gas gift cards with the money you get back, and stretch that out. That's really cool. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Like the closer I get to having this trip to Bavaria be free, the better it gets. Like I don't know that I've been this stoked about a vacation in a long time. It is just it's going to be a lot of fun. And we planned in a lot of flexibility so that we don't have to rush anywhere. I had I ran a marathon in France last year, and I felt like the people, our friends that planned it, nice people, but we were rushing a lot of the time, and I just felt tired. And even though we saw a lot of neat stuff, it was just too much neat stuff. I would have rather had less neat stuff and been able to chill a little bit instead of coming home and feeling like I need to recharge my batteries. All right. Have a fantastic weekend. We're probably going to be here this weekend, by the way, if you're hanging out, because I'm going to be in Philadelphia in a couple weeks, and I got to get ahead of the game. Probably not another one today. Maybe another one today, but probably not. But you can easily count on one Saturday and one Sunday. All right, guys. Bye-bye.